this isn't from Game of Thrones. This is the Hungarian Horntail from Harry Potter. There's no Lego Game of Thrones sets, though there really should be. Hi, I'm the Mythology Guy, and I just saw House of the Dragon Season 2. I didn't do a video for Season 1 because I didn't think it was, like, myth-related enough, but then I realized, you know, the whole winter is coming thing comes from Norse mythology, so I think that counts. That's, like, the most famous line from Game of Thrones, and they say it, like, 3 times this season. So yeah, I thought I'd talk about it, especially because there's stuff I want to say, especially considering I have not read the book. I own it, but I haven't read it. Just wanted to mislead you there. So I'll do no spoilers, then I'll go into spoilers, and I'll give you a warning beforehand. Season 2, overall, I liked it. I really liked Season 1 a lot. It felt like Game of Thrones was back on track after the huge disappointment of, you know, the last 2 seasons of the main show. So it felt like this show was a sort of way to start enjoying Game of Thrones again, especially since it's based on a book that's finished and Dumb and Dumber aren't making it this time. And yeah, overall, I really enjoyed Season 1. I thought it ended in a great place because it ended on, well, you know, why are you watching a Season 2 video if you haven't seen Season 1? So I'm not going to be shy about Season 1 spoilers. It ended on Rhaenyra's son getting killed and, like, basically like, all right, the time is now. It's time for war. Shit is totally about to go down. And it doesn't. Okay, it does a little, but this season has so, like, it felt like Season 1 ended right on, okay, like, the buildup is done, shit's about to go down. Well, Season 2 has more buildup, and it takes a while for anything to start happening, and there is some stuff that happens. Some people are saying nothing happened this season. Well, no, some stuff happened, but the problem is, stuff happens in like 2 out of 8 episodes. I don't know why we only have 8 episodes when last season we had 10. I guess those dragons are really expensive. But yeah, I mean, it was kind of, I hated the way this season ended. I was honestly loving the season, even when not a lot was happening. I was still really invested in the characters. I'm still invested in the political intrigue. I like the characters they've introduced this season. I like the conflicts they've introduced this season. So I was all ready for it to pay off in episode 8. And again, I'm not going to get into big spoilers, but episode 8 is just more buildup. It literally ends on, like, in a vague way I can say this, it ends on, see all this stuff that's about to happen? Cool. It's not happening now, see you in 2 years. Literally everything that's been built up over this whole season, episode 8 goes, yeah, that's gonna be cool when you see it some other time. It's like, it wouldn't be so bad if this were like a mid-season finale, or if we knew we were getting at least 1 or 2 more episodes, then it would actually be really hype. We'd be like, oh man, this is going to be so cool next week, or something like that, but it's not. It's in 2 years. And I remember as the episode was ending, I was watching this with Wilda, and we were looking at each other going, wait, something's gonna happen, right? They're not gonna end here, are they? And I kept saying, like, you're not gonna end here, are you? And the music starts playing, and I'm like, no, don't you dare. And Wilda's laughing her ass off, because she, you know, her joy is all of my misery, and she's just laughing her butt off, and then the credits popped up, and I screamed at the TV, and she was just, like, laughing uncontrollably, and I was like, God damn it! How dare you! How could you do that to me? So yeah, I would probably recommend, honestly, if you haven't seen this season yet, or haven't even seen the show yet at all, maybe wait till Season 3 comes out so you can actually get some damn payoff. And, like, some people are going to be saying stuff like, well, what do you can't have, like, big battles every episode. It's like, no, of course not. But I would like something big to happen in the season finale. It felt like so many things were built towards it. You know, they built towards, like, 5 different things this season, and they, like, teased all 5 of them in the season finale. you couldn't have given me just one of those things. You couldn't have given me, like, they keep building up that there's going to be a big battle of Harrenhal. I thought it was going to end on that battle, and it didn't. And god damn it was so annoying. Okay, enough about how, like, I was annoyed with the season finale. Let's talk about other things with this season. Once again, still really like the characters. I like the way they talk. I like the political intrigue. One weird thing that's going on is Daemon this season. Daemon was my favorite character in season 1, and this season he's got nothing to do. Maybe it's like, look, I again haven't read the book, so maybe he wasn't doing anything in the book at this point, but basically it feels like they didn't know what to do with Daemon this season, so they decided to just lock him in a room and give him a bunch of fever dreams all season long, which is, it does build to something at the end, and I like what it built to, so I get why it's there. I get why they gave Daemon the story that they did this season, because where it led was actually something I liked, but getting there was painful, and it was like every damn episode had some Daemon fever dreams in them, and I'm like, can you just stop? You could have knocked them all out in one episode, which I think is what they should have done. Because at the same time, Daemon is also trying to do some political stuff in the area he's in, and a lot of it just seems to happen off screen. Like, at one point, like, he sends some guy off to do something, and later, a bunch of people are mad at him because they're like, oh my god, you ordered all of these atrocities done and they happened off screen, and we're mad at you for them. And I'm like, I don't know how to feel about this because I don't even know what the hell happened. I don't know how we got here. Why was all of that off screen? Maybe show a little bit of it, or just show something instead of showing fever dream number 7. So, it just, It was kind of hard to deal with, and yeah, I don't know what happened with Daemon this season. I still love the character, and you got Matt Smith playing him, and he's doing a great job. All the actors are doing a great job, but man, like, did you really have nothing else to do with Daemon? You could have focused a little more on the political thing he was trying to do. But there is some really cool stuff this season. Again, not gonna spoil, but particularly involving dragons. Like, there's some really cool stuff that happens with the dragons, which is probably where most of the budget went. Woo! I love this set. So yeah, but it's not in the finale. It's in, like, episodes, I think, 4 and 7. Like, it is when the cool dragon stuff happens. But when that stuff happens, it is really awesome. And I like how they managed to make all the dragons look distinct from each other. I can always tell which dragon is which I think is impressive. I couldn't really tell the difference between Daenerys' 3 dragons, so I think it's cool that I can tell, like, I can tell Sunfire apart from Vhagar, apart from Syrax, apart from, I don't remember the names of Daemon's dragons, but apart from Sea Smoke, and the other one whose name starts with a V. I don't have all their names memorized, but I can tell just by looking at them which one is which, and I think that's a big accomplishment. Also, it's like, there are times where I feel like I can tell what mood the dragons are in or what they're thinking. That's pretty cool. There's actually a cute moment where, and what's amazing is it's like a blink and you'll miss it moment where just very quickly they show that one of the dragons has, like, a legitimate bond with its rider. And it was actually really cute, and it made what happens later kind of depressing. I think that's impressive that they were able to get that stuff across. But yeah, also, I feel like Alicent, that's her name. I almost forgot her name. I feel like Alicent probably doesn't have anything to do in the book during these segments, because it felt like they didn't really know what to do with her this season either. There's, like, some really weird moments with her that I'll talk about in the spoiler section. Rhaenyra I still love, but Unfortunately, like, I feel like she's not doing as much as she should be doing. Like, from what I hear, she's pretty ruthless in the book, and that does not come across here in the show. But, man, it just sounds like I'm dumping all over the show, but I legitimately do enjoy, like, when characters play the game. I did enjoy the payoff for Daemon's story arc, even though getting there was painful. I really want to see the payoff for all that stuff that's been built up through the season. I'm annoyed that we didn't get any of it in the finale, but I'm invested in it all. I'm invested in what's happened with the dragons and the dragon riders. I'm not going to spoil it yet, but yeah, I'm very curious to see how that's going to play out more. I really loved the really epic dragon stuff that happened in episode 4, so that was really freaking awesome. So, you know, getting some compliments out there, that's nice. And yeah, like, it's pretty cool. So, yeah, I liked it, but I legitimately would recommend you wait for season 3 to come out before, like, if you have, you, of course, you know, if you're like, oh, I was gonna sit down and watch this with friends this weekend. No, still, you can still do that. I'm just saying, if you're not in a rush to watch this, wait for season 3. You'll have more fun that way. Like, I'm sure I'm not sure, because Game of Thrones let us all down a ton. But if they do season 3 really well, then that will absolve a lot of the problems with season 2, because then it'll just be one good flowing experience, you know? When you get to that, like, season 2, episode 8, everything's being built up, it's like, cool, I can go right into season 3. Then I'm sure you'll have a fun time, if they do season 3 properly. I heard there's either going to be a total of 4 or 5 seasons. I think that's good, because it's based on one book. Don't drag it out too much. One thing I think they're doing a little too much is too many references to the standard Game of Thrones show. Like, they refer to it like the Song of Ice and Fire like 6 times. And it's like, guys, can you please stop? Can you please be your own thing and stop referring to that show? And can you not inject prophecies about that show into this show? I heard that's not in the book, so I don't know why you're doing. No, I know why you're doing it. You're doing it for your little fan service, little tee-hee ha-ha wink at the audience. But you've forgotten, people are not happy with how that show went. They don't want to be reminded of it in this show. Please stop. Please just be your own thing. You know, this isn't like, it's not like you're referencing something that makes people feel good. You're referencing something that depresses us all because of how badly it ended. All right. So, yeah, I think that's about all I have to say without spoilers. Let's go into spoilers. 3, 2, 1, spoilers. Okay, well, at least one of the dragons died. I wasn't sure if Sunfire died or not, but, what was her name? Malin or something? The Queen Who Never Was, with her dragon, rides into battle against, the Queen Who, Rhaenys, that's her name, right? Yeah, Rhaenys and Malin ride into battle against Aegon and Sunfire, and I thought both Aegon and Sunfire were dead, but it turns out Aegon survived, and Sunfire, I actually don't know. Can someone tell me in the comments if Sunfire died or lived? I couldn't really tell, because I thought for sure Sunfire was dead, but then I think I heard someone mention that he could be alive. I don't know. I really don't know. But then suddenly Malin gets hit by Aemon and Vhagar, and yeah, so Rhaenys and Malin die. So they're dead for sure. We know that because they paraded the dragon head around the town. And that battle scene was freaking awesome. I'm trying to think if I've ever even seen like a dragon battle scene that was as cool as that one. Like, definitely not the Aragon movie. Dragonheart only had one dragon in it, and it was not a good effect. I don't know. That might be, you know, we actually haven't had that many dragon-on-dragon battle scenes in on the screen, have we? Like, plenty in books, tons in books, but have we had any on the screen? I don't know. But yeah, freaking Daemon with his fever dreams. He's like, who's giving me these fever dreams? And he says that after he drank a drink given to him by Alice Rivers. And, like, he's like, I keep drinking drinks that this girl gives me, then having fever dreams. This girl talks to me about my fever dreams. Oh, it's gotta be Lord Strong giving me the fever dreams. Literally, it's like a fucking meme. It's like, you idiot, obviously it's Alice. I mean, and I know what you're doing, show. Alice in Wonderland, haha. Going down the rabbit hole. Didn't expect to see Alice in Wonderland references in a Game of Thrones spin-off show, but okay. But, you know, they are a way for the show to reuse the actress who played young Rhaenyra, and she is great. And they are a way to reuse, what's his name? Viserys, was it? Yeah, I think it was Viserys. They're a way to reuse him, and I love him too, so... Like, it's kind of cool to see them. The problem is there's just a little too much of it. Like, again, I think you should have knocked it all out in one episode. Because I did like how it ended. That arc ended with Daemon realizing he should have been supporting his brother when his brother needed him most. Like, and I actually liked that. I thought that was a touching scene. But then, of course, he's recruiting an army at the same time. And then, they focus so little on that at the end of the season when, you know, Daemon rallies the army and everyone goes, ha, ha, it wasn't even me, it was Wilda next to me who said, this does not feel earned. And I was like, yeah, it really doesn't, because you were too busy focusing on freaking fever dreams. You should have focused more on Daemon building that army, getting to the point where he could have that army, and maybe giving him some sort of connection with the army. Because, what was his name? Like, Oscar or something? Lord Tully, the kid. I actually really loved that character. I loved how he stood up to Daemon. I loved how he loved his grandfather, first of all. Like he said, I'm not going to hurt my grandfather. I love my grandfather. I was like, good boy. That's a good grandson there. And then, like, later, when Daemon's like, congratulations on your son, the kid's just like, I didn't do nothing. And I'm like, boy, you said exactly what I was thinking. And then later... Like, the kid's saying stuff like the Riverlands survives on our oaths. My grandfather made an oath that our family would follow Rhaenyra. I will honor that oath, even though I don't fucking like you. Like, he just makes it so clear, and I'm like, you know what? Respect to this kid, and I'll bet Daemon feels the same way. And yeah, there's, like, all this, like, stuff, like, Daemon has to make a decision as to what he's gonna do to Lord Blackwood and everything, and I feel like it just happened so suddenly, like it needed to be built up more. We needed to see what frickin' the Blackwoods did so that we would understand more, or we needed to see maybe, I don't know, more of Oscar Tully or something. You have all this time, and sometimes you use it on the wrong things. Like, they kept focusing also on Alicent. Like, it's so weird. Like, Alicent was, the last season, Alicent was determined to not let a woman rule. She was determined to make sure it was Aegon who would rule. Like, the whole conflict that ended the last season was, obviously a woman can't be in charge. No one will accept a woman being in charge. A woman cannot rule. And then, now obviously that's wrong. I'm not defending that. I'm just talking about with the Alicent character. And then later, when Aegon's incapacitated, they're like, all right, we need someone to take over. Alicent's like, well, I'll take over. Obviously I can. And then, yeah, one of the people on the council is like, you can't because you're a woman. Like, we're not going to let a woman be in charge. And she's like, oh, like surprised Pikachu face. It's like, what the fuck are you surprised about? This was your whole thing. The whole reason this war is happening is because your family will not let a woman be in charge. Didn't you get the memo that you sent? You moron. Yeah, I don't know. It's also a little weird because on Rhaenyra's council even, some of the guys are like, well, you know, you're the fairer sex. Obviously, you can't be trusted to make decisions. It's like, well, then why are you fighting for her to be the queen, you goddamn moron? What are you fighting for? I guess he's just doing it out of obligation, but it's so weird. So yeah, scenes like that I didn't really get. And then there's just a lot of Alicent hanging out in the woods, suddenly not caring if her children die, like, even though she seemed to care so much about when Aemon lost his eye in the last season, Alicent wanted to cut the eye out of one of Rhaenyra's children. But now she doesn't give a rat's ass what happens to Aemon or Aegon. She literally tells Aegon, you're useless. Why don't you just do nothing? Because that's what we need of you. And she constantly says, oh, I know what Aemon is. Aemon's a monster. I don't like Aemon anymore. And later when Rhaenyra's like, if I'm going to take over, I'm going to need to kill Aegon. And she's like, all right, you can kill Aegon. And I'm like, what the fuck? You don't give a shit about any of your kids. The only one you seem to care about is Helena, and I don't even care that much about Helena. I will say, this season got me to like Aegon, though. I hated Aegon last season. But this season got me to like him a little more, because I actually felt his frustration at no one listening to him or taking him seriously. And I saw him, like, trying to be a decent king, and trying to, you know, inspire his people. He wanted to ride into battle to set an example. He wanted to be kind to the people in order to be... It feels like he's trying to do right by his father. And I actually like that arc he's getting. And he had that bond with his dragon. That was cute. So, you know, when I thought he was dead, I was actually like, that's too bad. And then when he didn't die and he's actually almost fully recovered, I'm like, wow, tough guy. All right. But yeah, I say but yeah a lot, don't I? I've got some weird habits that I do not like. And then one other problem, though, with... there's this really weird scene where Rhaenyra just sneaks into King's Landing because she wants to talk to Alicent. Because I guess it's not possible to just walk up to King's Landing with a white flag and say, hi, I'd like to have a diplomatic discussion. Doesn't that happen all the time in war? Like, you can't just walk up there with some bodyguards and say, let's have a diplomatic talk. Like, let's talk about suing for peace. Is that not a normal thing to do? Like, just say, hey, I don't have any dragons with me. You come out with your bodyguards and we'll talk. No, instead, she has to fucking sneak into King's Landing, public enemy number one. But apparently she's wearing a nun outfit, so literally no one recognizes her. And then she talks to Alicent, and one thing I like is they do clear up the misunderstanding that happened last season with the prince that was promised. But then, like, Alicent realizes, no, it's too late to correct it, though, so this war is going to happen whether we like it or not. I'm thinking, okay, well, if Alicent has decided, you know, that she's not going to hand it over to Rhaenyra, war is going to happen whether you like it or not, then just stand up and say, guards, Rhaenyra's right here! Capture her and the war is fucking over. Why don't you do that? It doesn't make any sense. And then later, fucking Alicent just comes into Rhaenyra's, like, place. And you know what's amazing is she's just allowed to come in and talk to Rhaenyra. Amazing. Why didn't Rhaenyra think of that? And then it's so dumb. Like, Alicent's like, you know, I realized I don't like politics, so I just want to leave with my daughter. Not with either of my sons, just my daughter. Fuck all my other kids. And then Rhaenyra's like, okay, you can go. And then fucking Alicent is like, come with me. What do you mean, come with you? Did you forget what this whole war is about? If Rhaenyra was just gonna leave, Rhaenyra can leave at any time. And then there is no war. Stop saying stupid shit like that. Oh, and there was this terrible scene where... it was a good scene at first, and then it became terrible at the end. It's where Rhaenyra talks to... I can't remember her name. She talks to this woman who's joined her team, and this woman tells Rhaenyra this terrible story about how her father used to assault her. And when she got preggo with her father's... You know, her father then tried to kill her. And so then Rhaenyra goes and hugs her to comfort her. And then they start making out. And it's like, okay, I'm not a relationship therapist. But when someone opens up to you about that kind of abuse and trauma in their life, I don't think that's the right time to make a move. That's gross, okay? Didn't they say something like this in the previous Game of Thrones show where Tyrion tells a story like, oh, I I thought I saved a woman from being assaulted, and then she invited me into her bed, and it turned out to be a setup by my brother. And then Shay tells him, "You idiot! No one who has just, like, dealt with something like that wants to fuck afterward." Well, here it is happening on this damn show. I was joking with Wilda. I was like, so now you're doing lesbian stuff. Imagine one of the guards walks in and they find out what she's doing, and then everyone just leaves. Like, nope, 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 nope. You can be one thing. You can't be a woman and a lesbian. That would have been funny, but no. So I don't know what the hell was up with that scene. I thought that was awful. But yeah, I'd say it was more good than it was bad. But I just hated at the end when everything was fucking build up and they had a stupid three-eyed raven vision about the regular Game of Thrones show. And one thing this show did that I forgot to mention earlier is it does that. It's something I can't goddamn stand, is like saying that a battle is gonna happen and then just immediately cutting to the aftermath. Just cutting to the aftermath, not showing any of the fighting, not even showing how the fight started, not showing a single blow, just cutting to the aftermath. They do that at least 3 times. One of the episodes, I swear, is called like the Battle of some area, and you don't see the battle of that area. They cut to the aftermath of it. It's like the fight between the Blackwoods and the Brackens cuts to the aftermath. One of Cole's battles cuts to the aftermath. Daemon destroying a Stark's Point or whatever, Sharp Point, cuts to the aftermath of it. And, you know, I can already hear the people going, well, there was some of that in the regular Game of Thrones show. Yeah, I hated it there and I hate it here. I hate cutting to the aftermath. And I know you can't have a big battle every episode, but come on, like, I just... Every time that happens, it's just like, God, what we could have gotten. But I do appreciate the battle in in episode 4. That was a cool battle. It was well choreographed. I liked how, like, it was going. I liked the dragon fight. But, you know, I just feel like I got teased too many times. And then the ending is literally a tease as well. So that was a little much. But I think that's about all I have to say about this season. What did you think of the season? Was this like the book? Were there any changes from the book? I would like to know. I don't know how to end videos.